big couple of weeks ahead for the Boilermakers with a trip this weekend at Indiana, then Nebraska at home as we start to wrap up the Big Ten season. Kyle Charters here for This Week in Purdue Baseball, presented by Burke Boilermaker Golf Complex. Golf season is here with the head baseball coach Greg Goff and SID Ben Turner. You guys are playing well, headed into a couple of big weekends, starting this weekend with the Hoosiers. You've won 5 of your last 6 weekend series, including this last weekend against South Dakota State. You have to feel good, particularly about how you're playing on weekends, headed into what will be a couple of big ones against the Hoosiers and the Cornhuskers.
It will, Kyle. We're excited. You know, we're coming down the stretch here. We got done with school, got everybody eligible at this point, and you know, thankful for all that. But really excited the way our guys have played the last, 5 or 6 weeks, and we found a way each weekend, and their guys will be ready to rock and roll this week, and then going down to Bloomington. You
mentioned it during one of the broadcast interviews last weekend about how it is a little bit of a grind through finals, yes, and because school is important here at Purdue, and it is nice to get that finished.
Yes.
Be out of school, and,
yes,
and the guys, can focus on playing baseball when they have some really big games coming up.
It is, and that's what we talk about all the time is, just getting through and finishing, and that degree at Purdue is awesome to have, but it takes, a lot to get there, and as you know, and so our guys, I felt, got through it, and that weekend before finals and the weekend after, you just don't really know because there's so many other things going on. But I thought they handled it well. We beat a really good Rutgers team the first week, and then finished up this week with South Dakota State on a big walk-off win on Sunday.
You've talked a lot about finishing with this team. Feeling like last year's team sort of limped a little bit down the stretch. Injuries were a part of that. And this team has an opportunity to finish strong and head into the tournament with a lot of momentum. So that emphasis, I think, that you've made since sort of the beginning of the year about finishing, you'll get a chance to prove that here over the next couple of weeks.
We do. I'm excited. I'm getting excited just sitting here, with the show and knowing what's coming on and so forth. So I think our guys are excited. We had a really good workout yesterday, and I think our guys, we kind of took some off after getting the game canceled on Monday, and then yesterday went kind of light. The guys I talked to yesterday, in the weight room and stuff, they feel good. Their bodies feel good. They feel like they've recovered from finals, and I think they are excited about finishing this year, as we talked about from the beginning.
Yeah.
2 comeback wins and 2 different kinds of comebacks. You're down 4-0 early on Friday after they had a big home run. You come back and put up a big inning. You win 10-7. We've seen a lot of that during your tenure here. Sunday was, you don't always see. Right. You're down going into the 9th, and you come back and win. That's the best kind of walk-off or comeback that you can have. But the different kinds of styles that you found a way to win games has to be encouraging.
It is, Ben. I thought, and we've talked to our team about, the next step for us is to find a way to win in the bottom of the 9th. And, for us to get to where we want to and win 40 games and get to that plateau, you got to find ways to do that. And, I felt like our guys really did a great job of being able to kind of flush some at-bats early on and then make the bats when it really mattered. When the game was on the line, I thought those guys were really locked in. After going back and watching the film and video, man, we had the best at-bats of the day. And sometimes that's what it takes. And that's what we want to get to where we understand, like, great teams have got to find a way. Even on a not-so-good day, you got to find a way to win. And, man, what a great experience. And just to see those guys hop around the field was awesome for me to see.
I would argue the best at-bats of the weekend were in that 9th inning, considering you're facing their best 2 pitchers, those 2 relief pitchers that they threw out there both Saturday and Sunday. And then both the first 4 guys in your lineup, Bolton, Kornblum, Caskenette, Parr, the first 3 guys all take the count full. They all get hits, 4 straight hits against their 2 best pitchers. I mean, that was just elite. And to have good at-bats like that, too, to go full counts and then deliver hits on top of it. I mean, that has to be a coach's dream, that inning.
It was, and again, you got to have great presence and confidence, and I think that comes from hard work, weight room, and doing the other things. And I thought our guys really, they just expected to win, which was something that we were working towards and telling our team all along, like, this is the next step we have to do. We haven't done this all year. And for them to do that, man, just so excited for them to see that and to kind of continue to grow our program in that direction to where, that is an expectation. And it comes with good players.
We'll talk to Connor Caskenette on the show today. He'll be our player guest. But, he came through with one of the big hits, ran that hitting streak to 17 games. He needed one in that at bat. It was probably secondary to the comeback, I think, but certainly helped him out personally as well. It's hard to hit the ball that many games in a row, but it just tells you how consistent he's been. And for a guy who didn't start out as your everyday catcher,
that's right.
I mean, he's been really good.
He has been great, and I think he's settled in, and he's just continuing to get better. And he had some bad at bats early in that game on Sunday, and man, when it mattered, man, I thought he was locked in, and just really happy for him. I was hoping that thing would get out of there, but again, we don't have. His at bat don't mean anything if Mike and Coop don't do what they did and battle with 2 strikes and get those big 2 strike hits in the 9th when it mattered.
You had a couple of good starting performances again. You've often this season gotten 2 quality starts. Sometimes you've gotten 3 quality starts over a weekend. But what Cal Steven did on Friday night, he probably wasn't as sharp as he has been at times, but to be able to get through the 8 innings and eat up that kind of innings and give you that kind of performance when you have a bullpen that's a little bit banged up right now. Man, that just sets you up so well for the rest of the weekend.
It does, and again, I was watching his bullpen yesterday a little bit. And I think sometimes we take for granted what he's doing on Fridays, Kyle, to be honest with you. To have a Friday night guy that's a sophomore that, was our bullpen guy last year, I think is amazing for what him and Coach Rooney, how that's been developed, to be honest with you. But him to get through 8 and not have his best stuff and our team come back and get that win for him. And then, can't say enough about Kyle Lewinsky, man. I mean, what he did, it's hard to pitch when we're not scoring runs. And for him to, put those zeros up and to do what he's done, again, he's been a rock star for us in that Sunday slot.
Cal maybe doesn't get some of the accolades or the notoriety some of the other guys in the league. They've been around a little bit longer. But, man, there are very few that you would take over him just with how he's performed this year and been so consistent and the ability to get guys out and, sort of the right makeup, too, for a Friday night guy.
No doubt. And I think if you ask the coaches that's played us, I think they have a different perspective than people that haven't played us, to be honest with you. When we left Maryland, Rob, I mean, very complimentary of Kyle and what he's, of Kyle, what he's doing and things like that. So, again, we're going to be as good as our starting pitching. Let's get real. We've had great starts. And that's where we've been able to get, to a 10-8 mark in conference play. So we got to continue to do that these next 2 weeks.
You got some milestones coming up this week. Likely the 200th career game for Evan Albrecht, who's been here obviously the longest of anybody since 2019. Cal's at 96 career Ks. To make it to 100 Ks as a sophomore, that's not happened a lot. He'd be the 9th one to do it. It's a good chance he will. And then 100 consecutive starts for Paul Tates. Looks like that should happen Sunday. First guy to do that since Skylar Hunter, 17 to 19. It just speaks to their consistency and their excellence, too, to be out there as much as they have been.
It has. But, boy, you're so awesome, Ben. I tell you what, it's just amazing. We're so thankful to have you and what you do and how you promote our program and things of that nature. But we are, we got some great milestones coming and, had one with Mike and continue to do that with Ev and Paul and Kyle. So it is, great players make great coaches. And I'll be the first to tell you, man, I've been so fortunate with this group of guys and what they're doing every day, their performances. It's just awesome to be a part of.
Hats off to South Dakota State, I think, too. Much improved versus the squad we saw to start 2022. You and I talked about it briefly before the series began. 2 different animals. Playing a team from that far north to start a season in Texas like you did in 2022. And then the first weekend of May. Granted, it was at our stadium, but, man, they gave you all you could handle for 3 straight days.
We knew that, too. We knew that going in. We talked with some coaches and stuff, and I've been watching them on video. We knew that. And we knew that they had a lead, man. They're back into their bullpen. My goodness, it was electric, to be honest with you. So we were very fortunate to win that series and to get out of there on Sunday. And, I like Coach Bishop and how they do things. They just do things the right way, and hopefully they'll have some success as they get ready for their tournament next week.
And that's what you want from an open weekend in Big Ten play. Keep the momentum going. A quality opponent. Belmont last year got more wins than you wanted, Alexander, but it was a quality opponent.
There's no doubt. And it's tough, that bye week that the conference gives you, especially late in the year. It's hard. You're going to have 2 to 3 teams max, and for us to be on the road for the first 4 weeks, we have to play at home, and thankful that Rob and them decided to come over and play.
Chance to get some momentum tonight. Obviously, UIC on the road in Chicago, really good program. We know that about the Flames, but it'd be nice to do some things well tonight, headed into what'll be a big series at Indiana.
It will, and we'll start Carter Dorn, and then we'll throw some guys in the bullpen, tonight, and hopefully those guys will be ready to go because UIC is really good. They just swept Belmont this past weekend in conference play, and they're good. They're older. Yep. And they especially offensively, they're really good, and they play really good. I was so impressed with their defense when we played them here earlier in the year. Then they were really good, Kyle. Yeah.
All right, you got to be honest here. Do you scoreboard watch during weekends, or do you know that if you guys take care of your business against the Hoosiers and the Cornhuskers, that you'll fight your way into the tournament?
I'm not into the scoreboard watching, to be honest with you. For me, and I tell our players all the time, we control our own destiny, right. And let's take care of business, and just play game to game and show up every day to do our best. That's what we've been doing all year. It's kind of been our motto all year, and fortunately, we won the last 5 out of 6 series, and hopefully we can go down to Bloomington and play well this weekend and win another.
Well, you've played an exciting brand of baseball, certainly, and it should be exciting in the next couple of weeks as well.
We are. We're excited and thankful, Kyle, and thankful for you guys and what you do for our program every day, and we are. We're ready to finish this thing out and go strong here in the next 2 weeks.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot. Let's take a break. We will come back here in just a moment. We'll talk to Connor Caskenette. We will do that coming up next on This Week in Purdue Baseball. It's warming up and golf season is here. As a member of the Pete Dye Golf Trail, Burke Boilermaker courses offer a variety of experiences and services for you to enjoy year-round. Visit PurdueGolf.com/clubhouse to stay up to date with all the latest deals and offerings, as well as construction and related traffic updates for the new clubhouse. That's PurdueGolf.com/clubhouse. Welcome back to This Week in Purdue Baseball. Kyle with Ben and catcher Connor Caskenette, who has been a busy man, certainly for the Boilermakers. You have got a lot of work, mostly at catcher, I think since probably early April. You've been out there, 90% of the innings or so. You did get a break the other day as the DH, which was probably nice for you a little bit. But, man, you've played really well, 17-game hitting streak. Now, what has worked so well for you here recently?
I think it's kind of just doing the little things. Like, I'm not trying to overdo it. Like, I want to keep the hitting streak going, but at the same time, there's so much luck involved with baseball. I'm just trying to, day in, day out, I'm just trying to put myself in the best position to kind of ride this thing out.
So you were part of the comeback on Sunday against South Dakota State. I think you were 0 for 2 headed into that last at bat. How much do you care about the hitting streak at that point, or are you solely focused on trying to get your team back into the game and get the victory?
It was definitely in the back of my mind, but at the same time, it was just kind of going into like how I saw that at bat. It wasn't more so like the hitting streak. It was more so I'm not gonna let this guy on the mound beat me here, and I'm gonna put my team in the best spot to win. And it was like either hitting a ground ball to get Mike home, or ultimately I hit that double to get Cooper at third. But it was more so just this guy's not gonna beat me. I'm not gonna strike out here. I'm kind of gonna keep the chains moving. Keep it moving.
As Ben pointed out earlier, Mike Bolton Jr., Cooper Kornblum, you all went to 3-2 counts. You had good at bats there before getting base hits that ultimately led to the comeback. Just what sort of was your approach in that at bat? What did you see? What did you ultimately see on 3-2 that you felt like you got a pitch that you could drive into left center?
Well, I saw that guy. I think it was the game before. I saw that guy, and I think I hit him. I got a hit for my third hit of that game, and I kind of remembered the way he was approaching me. Like, he wasn't throwing a lot of fastballs. I was seeing mainly that like splitter, and I know that the other day he left his splitter like middle up, so I could kind of in my at bat I was kind of thinking he's not going to throw me a fastball here. I was kind of more thinking like off speed timing, and then it was kind of just in that 3-2 count. I got the same exact pitch that I did the other day, so I was able to just drive it and. Wasn't really trying to do too much. Just kind of knew what he was gonna throw to me. Yeah.
Jackson Danley a couple weeks ago said what pitchers say: "I want the ball and I want to pitch." When it comes to the catcher, 90% of the innings since April 1st or whatever it's been, is it the same mentality? I just want to be out there, coach. I don't care how many innings over the course of a week or a weekend it is.
Yeah, definitely. I think I remember against Northwestern when we got rained out and we had that doubleheader the next day. I remember telling Coach Rooney like, hey, if you want me to go too, I can go a doubleheader. Like it's kind of like, I don't care like how my body feels. It's kind of just if you have the trust in me to get me out there, I'm going to play as best as I can.
Well, and definitely a lot of trust, I would think, between you and the starting pitchers, especially considering how well they've performed in Big Ten play and their consistency. What have you been most impressed with what they've done?
Definitely going deep into the games. They're able. The one thing with our pitching staff, they're able to keep their pitch count so low, and they really trust our defense. You don't see a lot of walks, and a lot of the guys that like they face, they're letting the ball get put in play. They're not trying to like overpower hitters, which I think is like the main reason why they're getting so deep into games, and that's why their stat lines are looking so great too.
Is there maybe one thing that you can tell us that you like find unique about each one? Cal, JB, Ski, maybe we don't think about, but that the catcher notices?
I think the biggest thing with Cal is that even though he's not trying to do so much on the mound, he's able to overpower hitters with just ease and his velo. I think he's like a really good like power arm, and he's gonna go far in this game, I think. And then JB, I think the one thing with him is that he's really calm and collected. Like no moment seems too big for him, and nothing like seems too small. He's always just that even keel kind of guy, which I think is really cool because he doesn't let the game speed him up. And then Ski is just like his ability to go out there and always give a good outing. Like I think Coach was saying that over his past like 3 or 4 starts, he's gone into the 7th inning, or he's like gone 6+. And I think it's just like his consistency factor. Like you won't see him leaving the game early or putting like the offense in a tough spot to handle. He's always out there like giving his best, and he's always like attacking hitters as best as he can.
You came in with a veteran catcher group, a couple of guys who had been here for a while, and Jake Stadler and Steve Ramirez. Just what was it like joining those guys? How do you guys interact together? What have you learned from them? Them having been around and had experience here at Purdue before you.
It was kind of just the different styles of catching that I saw, and especially coming from a JUCO where we didn't have like as much catching instruction, being able to kind of like just pick their brains about like the different things they see. Like I know I talked to Staddy a lot about framing, is how he likes to move his hands around to get like the best feel around the ball. And then I like talking to Steve about blocking because I think he's a tremendous blocker. Just kind of picking their different brains about like the things that I see them doing exceptionally well, and just trying to like implement that as part of my game.
It seems like from the beginning of the season to now, that's maybe the area that you've made the biggest improvements, is just defensively and catching the game, that sort of thing. Do you feel like that's accurate?
Yeah, it was definitely another thing, was just getting comfortable, like seeing, kind of knowing the different pitchers I'm going to catch. I know in the fall it was more difficult for me because I hadn't seen everybody. And the one thing for me is I really struggled catching lefty pitchers. I wasn't as like mobile blocking to my left side. So I think just being able to see like our different pitchers and recognizing their different pitch shapes like really helped me in the long run.
Yeah.
What you just described as reps.
Yeah.
Life is all about reps, whether it's changing diapers, at bats, what have you. The more reps you get, the better off you're going to be, right?
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, to start the season, a little bit of adversity when it came to reps.
Yeah.
And you stepped on a ball in Texas, that first practice we had down there,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you can't play until the second or third weekend or whatever it was. Did that ultimately help you in the long run, maybe? Because anytime we overcome adversity, sometimes it makes us stronger.
Yeah, I'd say it definitely. Obviously, I wish I was out there for those first couple weekends, but I think it kind of helped me just like watching the team and how the play style is for Division I. I think it helped me just kind of watching and kind of learning it's Division I baseball, but at the same time, it's still just a game I've played since I was a little kid. It's still just baseball, so it kind of eased my mind definitely going into it. Instead of being thrown right into the fire, I could kind of just watch it for a little bit and know what to expect when I finally did get my chance.
You're carrying on our recent tradition of Canadian catchers. Zach Fascia had quite the career here and is now playing pro ball. You are from Vancouver Island, right? Duncan, British Columbia. I've been lucky enough to go to Victoria. It was about 15 years ago, but man, talk about a pretty place.
Yeah.
I wanted to know a little bit more about Duncan, British Columbia. What can you tell us about it? And then you end up in the desert, south of Tucson for JUCO ball in Arizona. That had to be quite the transition going from the Pacific Northwest to the desert like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Tell us a little bit about Duncan first.
Duncan, well, my hometown is, I think, population 5,000 is and then the suburbs is where you get a lot of people. That's 80,000. So it's just a small rural town. There's a lot of farms. There's not a lot of people. So it's kind of just everybody just knows everybody. And I know for baseball, if you want to kind of continue with this game, you either have to go to Victoria or Nanaimo, which is the north side, I guess. And I chose Nanaimo, but yeah, Victoria was beautiful, and it's kind of just you don't have many resources in Duncan, so you kind of have to go find your own.
So it's island life, but still a little bit of a rural feel to it.
Yeah, definitely. Where I'm from, at least, because you drive you get Duncan the city, and there's 5,000 people, like I said, and then you drive 10 minutes out, and then it's just dairy farms and just all that kind of stuff.
How did you end up at, is it Cochise?
Yeah.
Cochise?
Cochise, yeah.
Cochise. How did you end up at Cochise Junior College south of Tucson?
Well, originally I was supposed to go down to Louisiana to a JUCO down there, and then COVID hit, and there was some stuff with my father that happened. So I decided that I was gonna reclass a full another year, and then I had a new high school coach kind of thing, and he told me about his connection with Cochise and Coach Englehart down there, and he told me that it would be a great fit. He sent another Canadian named Lewis Boyd down there, and he ended up going to University of Arizona, and now he's coaching with the Seattle Mariners. So he kind of pushed me towards that. He felt that if I had the talent to go play at the next level right now, then I shouldn't be wasting my time in high school ball. So that was kind of that late transition thing where instead of taking that extra year for development, it was more hey, get out there right now. You don't need to stay at the same level. Let's get out there.
Seems like that journey has worked out well to bring you here to Purdue, where you guys have won 5 of your last 6 weekend series. How do you keep that momentum going into the game tonight, and then these important last couple of weekends at Indiana and then Nebraska?
I think it's just the care level. As you said, these next 2 weekends are in the Big Ten play are really important, especially since I think there's from 5 to 8 in the standings or something. We're all the same record. It's just kind of our guys have to keep that same level of focus and care. Not being beat on a Friday night, even if we're away, not letting those things dictate the game for us, and just kind of trying to continue this momentum into the Big Ten tournament, hopefully.
Yeah, it's you could finish anywhere. I mean, everything's so jammed up. Finishing anywhere from 3rd to 9th, I think, is a reasonable thing, a reasonable outcome here. Certainly, you got a lot to play for.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of what Evan Albrecht always says in the dugout is out tough somebody here, be gritty, grind this out, out tough the other team here, and I think that's what is really going to dictate these next 2 weekends.
Yeah.
Mr. Grinder himself, Evan Albrecht.
Yeah.
200th career game coming up this week, so we look forward to hearing about that. All right, we close out the player segment with what we call personal preferences. Connor, there are no wrong answers. We just want to learn more about you, but you do got to pick a number between 1 and 14 this week.
I'll go 10.
10. Favorite outdoor activity?
Hiking.
Gotcha. There are some good hiking spots on Vancouver Island.
Yeah,
I can only imagine. British Columbia sounds beautiful right about now, especially in May. All right, between 1 and 14, don't pick 10.
7.
7. Favorite superhero or sci-fi TV or film series?
My favorite superhero is Thor.
Thor.
This is brute strength, I think.
Did you ever think you'd be teammates with a Thor?
No, I didn't, but yeah, Jake Jarvis definitely has that going for him.
Yes, he does. All right, last one. Between 1 and 14, don't pick 7, don't pick 10.
5.
5. Toughest pitcher for you to face among current teammates?
I remember putting this on my card. I put down Jonathan Blackwell. I don't know what it was, but against me, it seemed like he had my number. Everything that he threw me, he knew what I just didn't like to hit.
Fair enough. And you said catching lefties was something that you struggled with, but hitting as well. I guess it's certain lefties, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, hey, appreciate it, as always, for you coming on and spending your time with us. It is a big couple of weekends. As you said, you just sort of have to take it one game at a time and try and grind it out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, best of luck tonight. Best of luck against the Hoosiers down there in Bloomington this weekend. All right, that'll do it for our show for this week. Thanks to Greg Goff earlier. For Ben Turner and Connor Caskenette, I'm Kyle Charters. Thanks for watching This Week in Purdue Baseball, presented by Burke Boilermaker Golf Complex. Golf season is here.